Hey everybody, welcome to our prisoner rewatch. Well, not rewatch because we never seen it, but our watch through part two. So we're taking on the second half of the prisoner, and like this picture shows, we're gonna go places because the second half really wasn't content on staying in the village. So we're gonna start this review. We're gonna go to the next episode, which was Checkmate. So, as you can imagine, this one was all based on chess. Um, it starts with him and some lady's like, "Hey, come in, get in on this game," and he does. And there's like this guy. There's like these. They play human-sized chess, which I heard you can actually do this if you go over to that village. You can walk around this chessboard. But they play like human chess. So there's like these two guys in big chairs and they tell everyone the moves. And he's like really interested in this. And he like talks to the chess guy after the game. And the chess guy's like, yeah, you can tell which ones are like loyal to the village, which ones are not. And he's like, ooh, this is really interesting. So he gets like a sidekick in this one. um, and he gets this guy, and thinks he could tell who he can use, and it and he just like goes around like plotting this plot to escape with his sidekick, and they and it doesn't work. Of course, it doesn't work. Because everyone's always betraying him, and I think the sidekick betrays him, right?
I don't
Um,
remember Elvis and dude.
because remember they're like at that tower, and they're like
Oh, wait.
punching people off the tower and stuff
Oh
like that.
yeah.
And then I think they get in the boat, but then they just like bring them right back or something. Uh,
Oh yeah.
yeah, so it was a pretty standard The Prisoner. Do you remember anything from this one?
Yeah, I remember I liked him and the sidekick like going around the town like being mischievous basically and
Yeah.
um I do now that I remember it, I like kind of that ending where they get on the boat and there's like a screen showing that like they've been watching like the whole time.
Hmm.
Um but yeah, it's a little more forgettable, but I think there are some like funny scenes in this one.
Yeah. It's kind of a funny one. So is the next one, I would say, which is also kind of going around being mischievous. So Hammer into Anvil. So this one starts kind of dark because there's like this female prisoner and she's in the hospital, and this guy number two comes and he's like, tell us, oh, tell us where your husband is or something like that. And she's like, no. And he's like, well, I have pictures of him with another woman. And she's like, ah. And she's screaming because he's like, well, we'll have to take it from you, the information, like forcefully. And so the number six is like walking around and he hears like screaming all the way from the hospital. I mean, I guess it's not far, but there's like it's thick walls and stuff. You wouldn't think you could hear it, but he hears it, so he runs over there and he like gets there right in time for the to see the lady jump out the window. And number two's like, "You shouldn't have interfered." And the prisoner or number six gets all angry, and he's like, he's gonna get his revenge on this guy. But he does it like the most cheerful, like naughty way. He's not that angry. He's just like, well, he is angry, but he doesn't like act like he's angry. But he just like goes around planting clues and he like the number two has like a sidekick in this one,
Hmm.
and he kind of like uses him to suggest that number two is like not he's like gonna betray the village or something like that. So I really like this one. It was pretty funny. Just the way he was going around being mischievous, like you said. What do you
Uh,
think?
yeah, this is probably one of my favorite ones of the whole show because
Yeah.
it does like start out like dark and him wanting to get revenge, but it just keeps getting so much more like absurd that it's just really funny by like the second half of it. Like he tries to make it look like he's planning a bomb somewhere, and it just has him running around the village, and it turns out to be nothing. and number two is just losing his mind like the whole episode.
Yeah, this is
So
one of the rare ones where number six like wins in the
yeah.
end, because like number two goes nuts. He
Hmm.
goes crazy.
It's,
So that was good. It was nice to see him win
yeah,
one.
it's a very entertaining episode.
Okay, so it's your funerals. Uh I don't remember this one too much. Do you?
Mm-mm.
Okay, so this one's the one where they have like two number twos. So there's like an older number two, and he's gonna retire or something like that.
Oh
And
yeah.
he's gonna get replaced by this young guy. So he thinks he's gonna get like assassinated. So he's trying to help the other number two, the old number two, because he doesn't want to get him assassinated. And this one's hard to remember, but that's what I remember from it is like him going around trying to. Isn't there? I think is there like a girl that he like
Yeah, I
she is
remember.
that the one where she has like a dad that makes
Yeah,
clocks? Yeah. What do you remember from it?
I do. I didn't remember the name, but I do like this episode. I like him in the kind of old number two and how he kind of makes him like kind of like think about it because he tell or the younger one he where it ends where he kind of tells him like I hope they have it like as ceremonious as for you or something and kind of implies they're going to do the same thing to him. But
Hmm.
I like the tension of like the whole like scene with him speaking to the village and he's trying to interrupt the assassination for like the ending of the episode. So yeah,
And
that hmm?
he kind of wins again, right? Because he gets
Yeah.
number two out of there, like on a helicopter.
Mm-hmm.
I
He's
thought
wearing
there.
like that medallion that has the bomb in
Yeah,
it.
yeah. He puts it on the other guy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so another kind of win from him. Okay, let's go to the next. A change of mind. So this one is a rough one for number six. Because he starts off, he's like got this little, it's like, it really reminds me of Gilligan's Island because he has like this little gym set out in the woods or and where he does like pull up or he doesn't do pull ups. He like does
Mm-hmm.
swings around on the bar and stuff like that. So he's like getting his exercise in, and then these two hooligans, striped shirt hooligans, come and they're like, "Oh, you think you're kind of cool, huh?" So they fight, and
They
then
do remind me of Gilligan.
yeah, they fight, and then number six is the one that gets in trouble because they're like, "Oh, you're an instigator," and they call him unmutual, so he's not following the rules. They say so. They they make him go kind of crazy. They show him this light, and it
Mm-hmm.
like he is supposed to make him conform to them, right? And he fights it, but he's like kind of suffering from it. And do you remember more of this one? Because I remember the
Yeah.
end.
Remember
But
they like make it look like they like operated on his brain, but they like actually didn't. And
yeah,
remember she's trying to put the stuff in his tea, but he's like aware of it the whole time. He does it back to her, and she kind of goes crazy.
yeah. And then number two like sees that he's like, "That's stupid. What?" It's kind of funny. And then runs
Uh-huh.
over there. Yeah. So number six is always he's kind of aware, and he's always got his mind in the right place. And then it ends with the bullies again. They come back, and then he like beats the crap out of them.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, he takes a lot of punishment in this one though. And then like the whole village like turns on him because he's labeled unmutual. So
Mm-hmm.
that kind of makes him sad because everyone's
It's
against
another
him.
one where he kind of wins because then he makes the other number two look on mutual, and they all turn on him.
True, yeah, the village all turns on him. He's always winning until like the
Yeah.
well, I guess in the Okay, don't forsake me, darling. So this is what I was talking about. We're getting out of the village more, in these episodes. So this one was they like brain swap number six with this guy. He's like he's like an agent or something from the outside of the village that they brought in,
Hmm.
and they like swap their minds and bodies. So he like wakes up in his old house, and he's like engaged. Because I think the village is playing on him, right? Because we were never told he was engaged before,
Hmm.
but um, he wakes up this guy, and like no one knows him. And he like goes into the office like he usually does, barges into the office, and they're like, he tells them the story, and they're like, "Oh, is that so? You can like take us over there." This one maybe I wasn't mad. I was just like, because he could escape on this. This is one of the ones where he could escape if he just kept that guy's face, but he didn't want to
He
keep
didn't
that
want
guy's
his
face.
face.
He wanted his own face. But because he like shows him where the village is, and the helicopter guy flies him over there. But then he's like, "Hi, I'm work for the village" or something, and he jumps out, and he lands back in the village, and we start all over. There's some in stuff where like they were gonna put this guy's mind in the scientist,
Hmm.
but he number six like tricks him, and so the scientist actually gets away, and he
I think
doesn't.
it's the scientist that tricked the other guy, and then for him
Oh,
to get away.
yeah, there's a lot of trickery. It's hard to keep track of everyone. Do you have thoughts on this one?
No, it was a pretty interesting one, just seeing them switch and that he could have escaped, but he chose not to, kind of.
Yeah, but it was one of those ones where he could have won, Jiro. He could have won. Okay. Living in harmony. So this one was interesting because we start off and we're in cowboy times. We're in the old west. Um, so even the opening is a lot. It's like a western take on the opening of the prisoner.
Hmm.
Um, because instead of cars, you got like horse and stuff like that. And he resigns as a sheriff or something from a town, and they want to know why he resigned. And he ends up in this town called Harmony. And there's this weird guy there. He's like a British mod or something like that. He's just like he doesn't talk, but he's like crazy, and he's always trying to shoot people. And number six is trying to protect this woman from him. And the sheriff there wants number six to be the deputy, but he doesn't want to. But finally, he kind of has to because he wants to protect this girl. And it doesn't work out anyway because that one crazy guy attacks the girl. And it turns out it was all just like it wasn't like a dream kind of that they put him under. And the British mod guy and the sheriff are like number two and his sidekick, and even the ladies out there. But it turns out the lady like for some reason falls for number six. And then on the outside, the crazy guy attacks the lady and kind of ends kind of sad. But what do you think of this one?
Mm, I don't know if I really like this one, because,
Really?
yeah, because it definitely feels like when Twilight Zone has like a Western episode, and it's just really out of place. You can tell they like old West American Westerns like this, and they want to make like their own, but it just kind of feels like they just put it in the middle of this show
Hmm.
with these actors, and then the ending was like really confusing. Like, was she like falling for him, and why did he like go crazy, and they like both died?
Yeah.
It felt like it came out of nowhere when they could have just ended it with him figuring out that it was fake. But
Yeah.
yeah, this is a weird one.
Yeah, it does feel like a Twilight Zone Western. All right. The girl who was deaf. So again, we wake up outside the village. We wake up in like London or something where they're playing cricket, and someone like puts a bomb in the cricket ball, and then when he swings it like explodes. So number six is like this agent, and he wants to like capture the person that like putting bombs, and she's this lady who's into death, and or they call and she likes and then she like gets fascinated by him because he keeps escaping her plots, and her dad's like this evil scientist who is gonna bomb something with a rocket. And he's like Napoleon for some
I
reason.
know.
He dresses up like Napoleon. So uh, it turns out he was telling a story to some kids because I guess they have kids in the village.
Mm,
At first, I thought this was like him before the village, but
yeah.
um, but yeah, he's like telling this story to these kids, and then it like cuts to the evil scientist and the lady who happened to be like number two and the sidekick for that episode. So it was a fun one, I thought.
Mm. It's kind of just a like spy story, and it could have been. I kind of thought of it as like it could have been inspired by like his time before he resigned, like telling the story to the kids, and
Mhm.
there's some kind of hints of the village in the story, but um. Yeah, and I like that like ending where he like looks towards like the camera and they're like watching him in, and I forget what he says, but he
Yeah.
kind of like staring right at them.
And he's like, dang it. I can't remember. He says, like, he made me Napoleon or something. I don't remember. Um, but yeah, it was kind of a fun one. And then we get to the end. So the two ending episodes, Once Upon a Time starts out with this number two. This is like the second number two, I'm thinking, if I remember right.
He's one of them. I don't remember which one.
So he comes back, and they're like frustrated with him, right? Because he keeps failing. So they're like, you got to do this. They give him like a time limit, I think, to do it because he's got a clock and he's got to
It's like a
break.
week or something.
Yeah, he's got a yeah, because it's like 165 days or hours or something like that. And so yeah, he this is like his last chance to break number six. And to do that, he like turns him into a child. He like because he like hypnotizes him in his room when he's sleeping with this light, and he's like telling him nursery or he's repeating nursery rhymes to him. So he's like a child, and number six is trying to like make him do what he says, but he kind of still rebels against him. And then at the end, they're like he's like trying to get him to kill him or something like that. They're like playing a game to the death.
Mm.
And they're like fencing, and he's like, kill me. And he's like, no. And number six doesn't want to. And they end up in this prison that you see behind there. And again, it's pretty dark, the ending, because he's like, die, die. And then the clock runs out and number two dies. Apparently. So we think. So what do you think of this one?
Yeah, this is a really good one. I like it's pretty much just these two the whole episode, and it's kind of just
Yeah,
them fighting against each other.
it's like a
Um,
bottle episode.
yeah, and I like the look of like the whole episode is just like the black, but with like the kind of like setting of like the furniture and stuff like that. Um, but yeah, it's really just them like going like at each other and it just gets more and more intense until just one of them dies. So,
Yeah. And like I
um,
said, I did like this number two, so
yeah.
I was happy he was gonna last number two.
Hmm.
Um, did you have any more on this one?
No.
Okay, so we're moving on, and for like the first time, we get a continuation Fallout. So we start right where it ended because at the end they're like, "Well, congratulations, you did it." And he's like, "I want to be taken to number one," and they're like, "Okay." That Butler guy is there, so he's like on his team now since he won
Hmm.
because he's kind of like the new number two. I think they replaced, but they put him in a throne and and he's like they say he's the one that you know he's got free will. He's the man with free will. And so they're gonna put on this trial before he could meet number one for the. So this guy was the guy from the Western episode.
Hmm.
And somehow he's alive. Because they like bring back people back to life. They
Hmm.
resuscitate. Because while they're trying this guy, they put number two in this chair and they start to resuscitate him.
They
Um,
cut his hair.
yeah, I cut his hair, which looked weird. I was like, whoa, it's like
Yeah.
really different. Um, so they have these trials for these two guys, and this guy's just nuts, man. He's just saying dry bones and them bones and stuff like that. And they're like, okay, we're gonna put you. They put them in these tubes and they go down. And then they try number two, and number two like makes his case, and then he kind of just goes crazy and starts laughing at everyone.
Just right when he wakes up, he just starts cracking up.
Yeah. And he like asks like, how did I die? Did you put it in my tea or something like
Hmm.
that? Um, So they send him away. There's like a number. There's a big number one. So I thought like that number one was like the computer.
Hmm.
I don't know if that's right or not, but because there's a computer watching the whole time. It's like a big eye, and this guy like makes it angry, and then the other guy like spits on it, and it looks like it blows up after he spits
Hmm.
on it. And then they're like, okay, we got to take you to number one. And it turns out like this underground place is like a rocket, kind of like in that one episode.
Hmm.
And there's a bunch of people working in there. And these two guys are held captive in there, but number six like releases them and they all like fight the guys. And number six gets up to the top where like he thinks where the guy controlling everything is, and he like takes off his mask, and there's another mask, so he takes the mask again. But then it's like him, and
Yeah.
he starts cracking up at him, and it's just the whole episode's crazy after this because like everyone's fighting. The judge guy's like, "Oh, we got to get out of here," so because the rocket's gonna launch, and
They just get guns out of nowhere.
yeah, everyone's got guns in the village. They like tell the village to get out of there, so everyone in the village starts leaving, and all these helicopters start leaving,
The Beatles
and
starts playing.
yeah, the Beatles start. And number six, he's like number 48, I think. And then number two, and the butler, they like get on a truck and they drive away. No, it's the jail from the
Hmm.
previous
It's a
episodes
truck.
is a truck, and then they drive away in it, and they're like doing goofy things in the truck. They're like dancing around. They drop this guy off before they get to London because I guess he didn't want to go to London. He's like hitchhiking somewhere else, singing the Dry Bones thing. And then they get to London and they all get out. And they're just kind of like walking around, and number two just leaves. And then the butler like takes number six back to his house, and he gets in his car, right? And he just like drives away. And that's kind of the end of the show. So, what did you think of the ending?
I don't know. It was crazy.
It was,
It's, um, because I heard like they didn't really have an idea of like how they ended. So what they did was pretty much they just came up with just the craziest plot they could, and then just he left. So he does like escape the village eventually, but it's kind of anticlimactic because he literally just like kind of drives away from it. So,
yeah, everyone just
but
leaves.
I do kind of like just how crazy it gets and just everything they throw in there in one episode. So I don't think there's a bad finale, but I did kind of liked it. It's just I don't know if it had a meaning or it's just
Yeah,
crazy just to be crazy.
yeah. I think the show really liked to do crazy stuff.
Hmm.
I can see why some people would be disappointed.
Yeah, because it didn't answer
It doesn't
anything
answer anything.
like
Yeah,
why he resigned, who he was, like what the village was. It just kind of just keeps going on.
why was it a rocket for some reason?
Yeah,
Even though like the balloon things ran away at the end, so it's just like
yeah.
it's time to leave, so everyone's gotta leave. Yeah, it was a confusing ending. I don't know. It left me questioning stuff. So, like you, I think Hammer and Anvil was my favorite of this series. or Hammer
Mm.
into Anvil. And we have both like the same one for the first season too. That was funny. Uh, so I made the prediction that he was not gonna leave the village, that he was gonna be,
I thought so too.
but we were wrong. He did get out of the village. It was crazy. They all did. The village is gone, man.
Hmm.
I guess that makes sense that the village would be. It'd be, I guess, more fun if the village somehow got destroyed or something. But what did you think of the show overall?
It's pretty good. Like I said last time, you see a lot of this in like future like science fiction that that came after it. There's like definitely a lot of elements of this in a bunch of stuff, so you see why it influenced so much. But it's a pretty entertaining show. It's fun just seeing like kind of just this grumpy guy just trying to like just outsmart like this whole village that's like keeping him trapped. So it works just as like kind of a spy show, but I like just that it's not afraid to just go weird and it doesn't feel like a lot of other shows from that time and from the future either. Um and yeah, and I like that it was a shorter show because you didn't see that a lot like back then, so it was more focused on the story, which I like when shows are more focused like that. So yeah, I'd say it's a really good like science fiction like show.
Yeah, it was fun. It still reminded me a lot of Gilligan's. um, and but Gilligan's Island, they took forever to get off. They had like a TV movie where they got off
Did
the.
they get off?
Yeah, there was like a TV movie where they finally got off. Um, yeah, I don't think it's. I mean, it's hard to compare it to anything because I'm thinking of shows that we watched. Um, we before this we watched Star Trek and we watched Twilight Zone and Outer Limits. And I think Twilight Zone has the most like peaks out of all the shows we've watched.
Yeah, that's definitely my favorite.
Yeah. But again, there's some Twilight Zone episodes that I don't like. There was
Hmm.
like the weird seasons too, where they were like an hour long and
Yeah.
stuff like that. I didn't really enjoy those. But yeah, it's good. So it's up there. It's up there with Star Trek and Twilight Zone for classic sci-fi. I don't know if I like it as much as Star Trek either. I really like the first two. First, there's a lot of Star. It's hard because this one's so short.
Yeah.
It's hard to compare it to the longer series. So maybe we'll find another short series out there. But yeah, I think we're gonna try to do some more sci-fi, classic sci-fi series watch throughs. So if you guys have any suggestions of what we should watch next, let us know. You can help us out by liking the video and subscribing to the channel, and also notify yourself for even more good stuff. And we will see you next time.